Okie dokie. Let's see if we are live. I have no idea if we're live. Shit. Okay, we are live.
白岩学園3年 B 組の皆さん、こんにちは。
Okie dokie. So, it's going to be just a stream featuring little old me, and we're going to have, by we I mean me and Ove, we're going to have a nice chit chat over who knows what. So here's I'm gonna loop in Ove now. I have to mute. It's a big 10-4. I was about to boomer tech like a retard. And okay, Ove, can I get a quick hello for audio level check?
Hello.
Okay, so you're just okay. Yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know, whatever we talk about, like, yeah, we don't have any of this planned out, but whatever we talk about, it's going to be a lot more interesting than what's going on.
No beef streams.
SPFU
No beef
James.
streams. No beef.
I'm just saying.
No beef. No beef. No beef. We talk about poultry, goat, venison, sometimes rabbit stew, depending. But this is a cattle-free stream.
Look, all of a sudden, all the people who are in James's chat are all over here now. Gee, I wonder why.
I don't
I
believe
mean,
that.
you know,
No.
no, yeah, James is doing a great job. Great job.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Um, yeah, all right. So let's see here. Fun things. Yeah, I want. No, I can't. I can't. I'm just gonna say this one thing. I'm gonna try to accomplish a little task tonight. I don't want to say what it is because if it for some reason doesn't quite pan out, then I'm gonna be super bummed. So I will just say wish me luck. I'm gonna cross my fingers and I'm gonna do my best. That's all. Okay, I'm done. Now then, moving into the rest of possible topics to discuss, did you catch any of those hearings that happened?
You talking about the like Chris Lewandowski or I don't know. There's always hearings going on. Which ones are you talking about specifically?
The ones on Wednesday and Friday that featured the hideous, violent white supremacists.
Is that one where Candace Owens showed up again?
Hers was on Friday, but there was another one that was on Wednesday. And
No, I didn't even know those were going on actually.
yeah. Okay, so you didn't. Let's see here. Sin, check Twitter. But yeah, apparently there were a couple of hearings that popped up on Wednesday and Friday. I was still going through them because two reasons. The first is they're A, very lengthy, and
Yeah.
B, they're fucking triggering. They're so triggering. You wouldn't believe. One of the big things is that they are essentially saying that there is this horrible problem with, and I want you to sit down for this one.
Mhm.
There is a problem with neo-Nazis in America.
I mean, is it really a problem?
So, all I'm saying is, rough things are happening. They're talking about it, and in the hearings, they were saying, okay, so what they kept repeating was white supremacist, and then the word violent in front of it. And I think the reason for that is because they're trying to do this. This reminds me actually of the Book of Esther, Purim. In the Book of Purim is the a big feast festival thing that happens within the fellow white community, and the Book of Esther is the basis for the Purim feast. And if you read the Book of Esther, they have this weird thing with repetition. They keep repeating things over and over again, and the problem with their repetitions is that they're not actually repeating anything that's technically significant. They're only throwing in repetition as a way of trying to like build tension or something like that. And in the hands of a skilled writer, it's repetition can be very impactful. It can be very meaningful. But of course, we're not talking about skilled writers. Anyway, they're trying to do something not unlike the Book of Esther, where they repeat phrases over and over with the hope that it somehow becomes meaningful. So they keep repeating violent white supremacist. That's their big magic word right now.
Yeah.
And as they kept repeating these words, they're like, and they mused out loud. They said verbally, why are these guys getting the ears of so many young people? Why are these guys...
It's a mystery.
Yeah, why are they actually getting sway? Like, this doesn't compute. I mean, all they're doing is posting facts about reality. All they're doing is just making mention, BTW.
Do they... Yeah, that's actually a good question. Do they actually go into, like... So do they even know... like the stats and figures that we talk about, black murder rates or shit like that.
By an amazing coincidence, you can't even make this up. You cannot make this up. This is not a joke. I am not fucking with you. You can look this up. By an amazing coincidence, during the Candace Owens hearing that happened on Friday, during the first, I want to say, third of it, one of the guys actually did say, he didn't use the word despite. He did not use the word despite, but he did say that blacks comprise 13% of the population and are responsible for over 50% of the homicides.
When you say this guy, he was like a council member that was asking the questions?
That's right. So
wow.
The government, they know everything we know to the point of basically repeating a meme.
1350, baby.
That's right. So they're lamenting in the hearing that,
how dare these evil, violent white supremacists use facts and logic?
Yeah. They're actually bemoaning that we are referring to reality. They're upset, and the reason they're upset is not because we are reflecting reality. There's some city worker, I think he works in sanitation or something. He was saying that basically you're having the wrong emotional response. If someone says that the white population is being extinguished on the North American continent, the inappropriate response is to say, and that's a bad thing. The appropriate response is to say, and that's a good thing. And that's what they're going for.
Wait, I'm sorry, what's a good thing?
How dare you? I saw that. You posted something in the chat, and you weren't paying attention. How dare you?
I'm sorry. Should I delete that comment?
I'm very upset. I am very upset.
Wait, what's supposed to be a good thing? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so these guys are saying that there are freaking. I'm gonna send a link to Josh, even though
yeah, get Josh on here.
In all likelihood,
Josh has been
not gonna be
absent from my streams lately. I'm kind of I'm feeling out of the cool kids club.
No, he's got a life though. The problem is that he has a life. Anyhow, no, but it's like, dude, these guys, they're getting pissed off that we're not self-immolating. That's actually kind of what these are about, these hearings. And what they want to do, obviously, is they want to put a clamp down on our ability to communicate not just with each other, but with people that are looking for us or looking for answers or whatever. Apparently, there is something to be said for the freshly red-pilled, for those who are just catching on.
I don't know if you ever read Breitbart, but
really. It's basically MSNBC, but for like the alt-right. I mean, I do read,
I guess. Well, here, let me put it this way.
But the problem is that they are super duper editorial. So.
Well, yeah, they're not. I'm not talking about the articles. I mean, the articles, they're pretty basic bitch and pretty civ cucky.
Yeah.
But if you actually go into the comment section below the articles where they're talking about something that's kind of edging towards red pilling, you look at the comments and there's all these kind of more and more often I see kind of like alt-right style comments.
So okay, I'm gonna make mention of one thing, and then I want to say hi to Josh. There's a boomer gun channel that I went to the other day, and it was talking about Chuck Schumer and something about Chuck. I don't remember what it was. And I put Chuck Schumer in echo quotes, and I was like, yeah, Chuck Schumer wants to ban this thing. What a shock. And right below that, a guy commented something to the effect of getting a name. this guy is naming them and he's getting upvotes. What a great day. Something to that effect. And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
even the freaking boomer channels are starting to, like, the wokeness levels are starting to creep in. Anyway, Josh Neal, hey buddy, how's it going?
What's going on, gentlemen? OV, how you been?
I'm my friend Kyle is missing. He's about this tall. If you've seen him, it's at the top of my list right now. That's
Kyle Rowland, you mean?
Kyle Rowland, yeah.
Obviously.
I gotta say, I saw Bad Boy Productions. I guess there was a big stream with like everybody who's ever been on Luke Ford, and I saw some of the things that Bad Boy clipped out. And I don't want to say this, but he actually seemed like a human for the first time.
Oh,
I
Kyle.
walked away with a positive impression of Kyle. Yeah.
I'm genuinely surprised to hear that.
Well, there's one clip that is called Kyle and Brundle declare a truce or something. That's like, there's actually a person in there.
You know, I kind of feel that way about Halsey to an extent. Like, he's this big, blustering kind of boomer guy, but if you push him, if you like kind of push him into a corner, he'll start saying, "Yeah, I want to live next to a white nationalist state." Yeah, I don't. It's, yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know what Kyle said that made him sound humanish, but I mean, yeah.
They had an exchange about. I mean, again, I don't have the total context, but they had an exchange, Kyle and Brundle, about why Luke does the streams and the direction of the show, and it was surprisingly civil. I think it wasn't anything that he said in particular. It was just that I had never actually seen him be civil with Brundle, and the other clips that Bad Boy took of him made him seem like a complete crazy person. But the last one I watched, I was like,
Nice.
Okay, there's a hero there.
I saw one of the latest ones that Bad Boy put up was Brundlefly and Kyle are back at war again, or something like that. So yeah, but I didn't see the truce one. I didn't watch either of them, but I just saw them in my subscription list. But yeah, Kyle. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he sounded human, because Kyle, I don't think I've ever heard Kyle be like, he's one of the more pill-pully kind of two-faced Jews that I think. I think he's worse than Duvid, to be honest.
I will say this one thing. I had Kyle on my stream one time earlier this year, and I decided that I was going to be nice to him. To his credit, he was actually really, I mean, yes, he did try to pull a lot of pill stuff with me. He, lots of conflations and assertions not backed by much, and all that, conflation, blah blah blah, backtracking without admitting that he's backtracking, and all this good stuff. Yeah, sure, there was a lot of that, but he was civil, so I will give him that. He is actually capable of being a civil person.
Yeah, I think it's...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say, one of the things he was saying, I don't want to make this a gossip stream, so if you want to like switch topics, that's fine. But one of the things he said in the stream was like, listen, if you just don't say mean things to me, I'll be respectful back. And I do think that's the case, but
yeah,
you're right, okay, he does shoo you, and it's like, there's only, depending like where you are, if I've had my coffee that day, if I had enough sleep the night before, I just don't have the patience to deal with shoo behavior. And so like you can kind of see where people get impatient or go on the attack against him. Compared to Duvid, I mean, I don't like David either, but
Really?
at least David has some semblance of a personality.
Yeah. I do get it, because there are days when, in all honesty, I have no patience at all, and I can't be bothered to tolerate complete bullshit and nonsense. I don't like it when people try to manipulate me. I don't like it when they lie to me. I don't like it when people try to gaslight me. Even on my good days, I don't like that. I will find myself in most cases in an intentionally, I will assume the posture of one who is bemused by all of the deceit, but it really does rankle me. And when I'm tired, my filters, they kind of go down. My ability to process information with a layer of humor, it kind of goes away. And like if Kyle had been, whatever that is, to me on a day when I'm not capable of dealing with it, I can totally see myself going off the handle. I can see myself acting like a bit of a prick, and it's like I understand his thing of like if you're civil to me, I'll be civil back, but at the same time, like, gaslighting people is not nice. Lying to people is not nice. Issuing bullshit is not nice. So when a person gets annoyed and calls you out on that, it's, well, you're the one that started all of the bullshit, and you're the one that started with lies. So why wouldn't a person call you out? This just turned into a fucking beef stream. God damn it.
Wait. Let's be clear here. When you're talking about The Chosen, it's never gossip. It's towards solving this question, in a conclusive manner.
Yeah. Well, I just want to. I want to try to reduce gossip is all. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not. It's problem solving is what it is.
Yeah.
Constructive problem solving.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we can apply it universally, then it moves from gossip into being something that is applicable. For me, anything that is applicable to more than one single instance is worthy information. Anything that is only applicable to a scant few instances is not very useful information. So I guess there is the possibility of using this information in a wider context. So I will go with that. At any rate, so then. Coming back to the hearings, though, these hearings. I was talking with some people earlier today, and they were, they're getting upset, and kind of black-pilled, and terrible things, blah blah blah. Like, I get it, I actually do understand, but these hearings, I swear to you, I'm starting to come around on that concept of, the more persecuted we are, the better off we are. Because when people are persecuted, when people are being attacked for things that they don't deserve to be attacked for, that's a terrible sentence. When people are being attacked over things that they didn't do, over sins they have not committed, that's better. They stand up and they notice. They start to get really upset, and they start to push back against those who are attacking them. I've heard it said many times that Americans are just too comfortable, and these hearings are going to start making people uncomfortable. So I'm kind of coming around on this idea that these hearings are actually going to end up being a good thing. Like, seriously. So there is the first element of it makes people uncomfortable, and there's the second element that it actually shows that these guys are they're afraid. They're actually concerned. Think about it from this standpoint. They don't want us to be able to communicate, and they're starting to hold hearings in which they're going to force people to refrain from communication. What this means is that we are effective. We are being very effective, and I think this is a fantastic boon. Does this mean things are going to quote-unquote heat up? Yeah, they are, a little bit. But I think that, number one, we will push through. Okay, so let me come back from that.
What do you mean heat up? What does that mean?
Well, they're going to come after us. They're going to DSM us. They will absolutely DSM us. They're talking now about making dissident right thinking, the violent white supremacists. They're talking about making it, number one, an international international terrorist threat, firstly. Secondly, they're going to talk about it being a mental health issue, which means that they can do two things at the same time. They can stick the FBI on anyone that they declare a violent white nationalist. That's the verbiage they're using. And number two, they can DSM us by declaring us mentally unfit. They can take away our Second Amendment protections, which will
red flag laws and all that kind of shit.
Correct, and that will de facto induce silence. People will refrain from doing or saying anything, because if they do or say anything, they will be red flagged. So they get to kill multiple birds with just a couple of stones. That's what these hearings are about. The noose is cinching down. So, but what that means is that things are happening. This is actually really good news. On a net level, this is good news. Also, I want to go ahead and say hi to Sin. Hey Sin, how you doing, buddy?
Yo, man, what's going on?
Yeah, word, man. So we're just talking about the your mic is just a hair low, not a lot, just a bit. But anyway, yeah, we're just talking about. Well, I was talking about the hearings. Have you been catching up? Have you been listening to the hearings at all?
You know what, man? I've been kind of trying to keep up with it a little bit, but things have been crazy for me. So
Yeah.
I haven't really followed it too much, but I kind of understand a little bit. Eke, you know exactly kind of where I've been hanging out, so you know I've kind of got a little bit of that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
So
did
anyway,
not watch
that's
hearing, but I'll just say I saw a clip of Candace Owens, and for once it actually kind of made me think she was useful. There was a clip of her saying something like, if I had to make up a list of problems in the black community, 100 problems, white nationalism would not be among them. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I mean, that there is some political utility to that.
Whoa, man. I'm just gonna have to say right now that we here at Eke Lux live streams disavow radicals like Candace Owens.
That's right.
That's
That's right. She's way too radical for us.
Yeah, she's extreme to the max.
Yeah, and I have officially banned Spyro the Dragon 3 from my channel completely. So.
Wait, how is I missed that. How is Spyro the Dragon subversive or controversial?
There is a certain subscriber of PewDiePie that referred to Spyro the Dragon as being very radicalizing.
How so?
Shit. He went to a church that was for Christ.
I mean, yeah. Well, Christ was the first radical, I guess you could say.
I'm done. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Moving on. Anyway, but yeah, I was Josh, I don't know if you might have last night. Ash was making mention that she thought that Candace was being exploited by the GOP for sound bites, basically. And I kind of agree with that. So I agree. I actually technically agree with the things that Candace Owens was saying. So this is it sounds kind of weird of me to say it this way, but the thing is that I recognized a few things. The idea of a black chick representing the white nationalists, like, come on, man. The fuck weird thing is this? That's weird on its own. And then the other one is that, like, the GOP was specifically angling for talking points, and, like, you could sense it. Something about it was just really weird. Really fucking weird. Very weird theater. Did everyone see that? How many people here saw that?
I just want to talk about, the idea of, a black woman talking about white nationalism in a pro, context, or, even like Milo, a gay guy being in charge of the, or being the, I don't know what you want to call it, the MC of the straight pride festival.
Yeah.
I mean, from a certain tactical point of view, it's like, I mean, if we're, if this is the kind of if our PR is so bad that a bunch of white guys, or a bunch of straight guys just hanging out with each other is somehow controversial, then I don't really, from a tactical angle, I don't really see a problem with Candace Owens or Milo being out there, right? I mean, there's different levels of kind of red pilling that's going on, I guess you could say. And obviously we all know that they're not really part of the movement, but if they're doing some good, then I don't see any from a like art of war kind of angle, I don't really see a problem with it.
That's actually an interesting concept. Josh and Sin, what do you guys think about that?
My only thoughts are that it's called camouflage, bro, and it's an ancient military technique. I'm in full agreement with OV. Like, from a tactical standpoint, or even a strategic standpoint, like, it makes perfect sense. But my like counter thought to that is that it kind of shows us like just how far gone we are.
Yeah.
That can't even, our PR, as you said, OV, is so bad, we can't even speak for ourselves because it's seen as an affront to normal sensibility. It's truly a double-edged sword in my mind. It's, on one hand it makes sense, but it shines a light on truly just how bad things really are. I think that's just my thought.
Yeah, my inner like uncompromising hardline self wants to say basically the same thing, that it's ultimate clown world status, that whites need a surrogate to speak through them, and but again, it's filtering into the minds of normal white people who would listen to Candace Owens, that there is something in the public space that is absolving them of the moral culpability which has been unduly put upon them. I was talking to my brother had his birthday, and I was with my family today, and my dad, who's pretty maniacally right wing, today was just like going off about things I'd never heard him talk about. Like, he was using the phrases white privilege and our people, and they're trying to extinguish our people. And he mentioned Candace Owens. I was like, if this is nudging people who might be racially aware but are not uppity about it towards being more uppity, then I'll take it. I don't want to get too galaxy brain 4D chess about it, but at this point, I mean, maybe we're not that far gone, and anything at all that pushes the average white man and woman to a sensible position of racial consciousness, man, I'll take it.
I just want to add in real quick that, I agree with Josh completely that just the fact that Candace Owens, by nature of her appeal to more, let's just say normie populations, that just her speaking about these things and bringing some light into the conversation really does, I think, make a difference in terms of, like Josh said, waking up the people who are like on the cusp. It's not going to reach the far gone lefties, but it will impact the people who would be more inclined to listen to people like Rush Limbaugh or Ben Shapiro. Maybe it'll fucking throw a little monkey wrench in their cognitive dissonance. So, I mean, I agree with that completely, basically.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Sorry, I was just gonna say something, but I'm gonna let OB go. Yeah.
Yeah. You bring up the concept of being on the cusp, and there's I think the important thing to realize is that there's different definitions of what being on the cusp means, right? You know, there's the Zoomer who's on the cusp, right? Who is like in high school or in college and is hearing all of this white privilege, white guilt, you know, all this kind of shit, like from a very direct point of view, you know, and they're, you know, they have to interact with it.
It's called propaganda, man.
Yeah, propaganda, sure, yeah. And you know, the Zoomers are probably, you know, more. I mean, I remember seeing an article from my hometown where this college party was playing beer pong, and the beer pong table was set up in the shape of a swastika, or all the, you know, all the beer cups, right? Like so like there's that kind of on the cusp where, you know, these Zoomers, like they hear like Hitler jokes and, you know, they like, you know, or they, you know, they hear about the JQ, and they're that kind of on the cusp is a lot different from the kind of on the cusp that a boomer would be into, right? Where they're listening to Breitbart and they're looking at it from more of a kind of you know, we don't have a problem with immigration, but, you know, we need, you know, we're not this open borders, you know, like what's that chant that they do? No borders, no USA, no borders, no wall, no USA at all, right? I mean, there's different that's what I mean when there's different kinds of red pilling, right. And by what follows through is there's different kinds of being on the cusp. So it definitely is important to have these different people who are at different kind of varying power levels, if you want to put it that way, speaking about these things.
Yeah, I think that those, because we've been so gaslit for the past like 60 to 70 years, but like active gaslighting since like the 60s. And I kind of feel like, you know, we've got people that were indoctrinated into the cult, you know, basically like my parents' generation.
I would say it started with with the loss of World War II is when it started, really.
Fuck OV. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, you know, there was, like, I mean, to be serious, you know, there was a very, you know, Germans were, you know, used to be I mean, they still are a large percent of the population in America. And prior to World War II, and it's not just the Germans, but, you know, all of America used to be a lot more isolationist, right? And not wanting to get into you know, European matters and all this kind of stuff. And Hitler was actually a very popular figure, even in America. You know, there was the American Bund, right? Yeah. American Bund Party.
Well, okay, but
no, dude, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that it's an unfortunate reality that we have to, I think, we have to move past the fact that we lost the war. You know what I mean? Like, we can't lament over that forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though it is something that I think we should all be kind of cognizant of, but I feel like everybody on this panel kind of already is aware of that.
Just think of it like the
well, yeah, we did lose. Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. Yeah, we did lose the war. I mean, I agree
with you, bro. I'm just throwing that out there. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, but I don't think it helps, unfortunately.
Right, but the thing is that we've been gaslit all the way to the point of now, like, we're supposed to love out-group, and people are starting to notice that the out-group is attacking us, and so all of our goodwill is not being reciprocated. And I do find it interesting that the one person that they chose, who, to her credit, she's actually a pretty good speaker. They chose Candace freaking Owens. So basically, America got a face full of the U.S. federal government is inching toward criminalizing white people that don't want to be ethnically cleansed, and the only person that was allowed to stand up for white America was a non-white. And it's like, I kind of think that, like, Yeah, exactly as Josh was saying, those who are too, or is it Ove? I'm sure everyone knows, everyone agrees, so it's fine. I'm not, whatever. The point is that I do kind of think that those who are too far gone, like, probably just never going to reach them at all, ever. And I don't mean this in the negative sense, but they're going to end up being cul-de-sacs. Nothing can be done about that. But I think that those that are like on the cusp, I don't know, man. I'm kind of thinking that because there's this concept that I heard that everything moves in like exponential functions or something like that. You know, think about math not in terms of addition, but in terms of multiplication. And you'll end up with situations where there will be a very gradual increase in something, and then out of nowhere, there's this huge flip. And yeah, like with magnets, you know, there's a little bit of resistance, and then out of nowhere, the magnet just fucking flips on you, and then it just attaches itself to whatever. I kind of think that there's going to be a situation like that. I'm starting to think that that could totally happen. Maybe I'm being optimistic and naive, I really don't know, but it's like, I think these people are showing their hand to the point that people can't help but notice. So what I'm wondering in the back of my head right now is, and this is half rhetorical, half serious, but can you guys think of any ways, legal, to get this stuff out in people's minds? Like, anything at all? Like, we're reaching a point where we could start, because especially now, because they're about to start criminalizing open discussion. If we could somehow throw some shit out onto that fan and get it out there, I think that, like, because they need to be prepared. The general public needs to be prepared for what is about to come. And if we can show them this is what is about to come, we have been talking about this for the past, I've only been here for like a year and a half. If we can show people that we've been talking about this for years, maybe we could actually get some people to come our way. So I just want to get like general thoughts. I guess we'll start with Sin, then to Josh, then to Ove on possible avenues for information dissemination.
Well, I guess my first thought is just this, dude. Like what you were talking about before of how things will, kind of reach a point where they accelerate dramatically. It's similar to an exponential curve, right? If you look at it, it'll stay flat for a long period of time, and it seems like it's really not increasing at all. And then all of a sudden, suddenly it seems you hit the extreme.
It's called Texas turning blue.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, right, exactly, Ovid. So I'm just saying, like, on the note of we're on the cusp, right? We're talking about people on the cusp. What was that, Josh?
What? Josh, could you repeat that?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
For some reason there was some kind of
in.
weird. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue though.
So to wrap up the thought, yeah, the people on the cusp. In my mind, I mean, I hear the same kind of stuff you guys hear. You go to a normie channel, you go to some, pro Second Amendment, channel on YouTube, and you read the comments, you see what people are saying. I feel like we're kind of hitting the beginnings, at least, and maybe we've already passed it, but we're certainly hitting the beginnings, if not really kind of making our way towards the vertical part of the exponential curve. So on the lines of what Eke is saying of like, how can we really kind of make like I mean, forgive me, Eke, but it sounds, like how can we make a final push to really put stuff out there before the noose tightens all the way? I think we really need to look to IRL stuff. That's in my mind, I think that's the only way we can avoid the increasing tighten down of censorship on the internet. So, I mean, I hate to say it, it sounds good. Like, honestly, it sounds like blinders. I think it's a big if more people put up stuff in their communities, like in real life, I think it would make a big difference.
Okay, so I definitely want to hear what Josh has to say, but before he does, I'm just going to go ahead and disavow going outside. I do not leave my house. Okay, moving on.
Okay, well,
That's a lie. I've seen Ike out of his house. That's a lie.
Okay.
Well, to that point, there was something that was in the news recently. Islam is right about women.
Oh shit!
It's okay to be white, I think, was effective, but it doesn't. It will piss off the left and make them histrionic, which has a particular effect, but it doesn't. The interesting thing about the Islam was right about women was that it forces a contradiction in progressive intersectionality that people don't think about because they just blankly accept Islam is the religion of peace, Islam is legitimate, and also women have no flaws whatsoever. So when you pit these completely bonkers first principles of progressive intersectionality at each other in a very plain, innocuous way, it confuses people. Like, people don't know what to think. I mean, I saw in that video clip, people like, well, I just don't know what this means. What is it?
Dude, nice cognitive distance. Beautiful.
Yeah, like, I think Stryker shared a tweet where it's like, the guy with the two buttons and he's sweating as he has to pick between the two buttons. It's like, is this against Islam or is this against women? It's like, okay, well, now people have to think, what is it that? What is the treatment of women by Islam? Do we accept that? What is it that we're saying that Islam understands about women that the West doesn't? So, IRL things that point cognitive dissonance or point to cognitive dissonance, I think that's more effective than necessarily something that's pro-white.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I hate to do this, but I don't know. I'm not sure, actually.
It's because dude, listen, it's simple. It's because the normies have been gaslit so hard against anything even resembling pro-white speech that it's kind of a dead end trying to go that route, because they just point out. We've all seen it. Come on, dude, don't lie to me. You've seen it. You know exactly.
Well, no, I don't disagree. I'm not saying that being pro, Sieg Heiling, is gonna get the job done or anything. That's not what I'm saying.
Well,
but
man, I'm down with Kyle too. You know me, OB.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Me too. Yeah. But there was that. Did anyone see that study that came out just within the past week or so about how women want to get married, but it's just, the problem is that men are just poor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, that made like a big splash in the internet, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, it took you guys this long? All right.
Well, I mean, but the point is that there's a total cognitive dissonance going on there, right? Men wouldn't be poor if there wasn't so many women in the workplace, right? And women are hypergamous, right? They want to marry up, but how do they marry up if they're CEOs and all that kind of shit?
OB, it's a great angle, dude, because it leads inexorably straight to repeal the 19th. So, I mean, honestly, we should try to play that up.
Well, supposedly, but the whole kind of thrust of the study's argument was that it's men's fault.
Well, yeah, but that's through the lens of woke, dude. I'm saying, like, people who still have a rational, bone in their body, who read something like that, they will make the connection, like we do, that. Yeah, of course, men are not doing as well because they're competing against not only, 50% of the population that they previously were not competing against, but also now, ever more increasingly, they're competing against the masses of third world warm bodies from, all across the fucking globe. I mean, just look at H-1Bs. So, yeah, of course, white men are not doing very well economically on aggregate because they have the entire fucking deck stacked against them.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing, right? You said that people who still have a rational bone left in their body. I mean, if they have rational bone left, then they might as well be willing to accept the 1350 principle, right? I mean,
Right. So you think I'm being too charitable, essentially?
yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Well, okay, I feel you, dude. Look, I'm all for normie hate. I mean, honestly, brain dead normies piss me off more than just about anything. But unfortunately, the fact of the matter is that we need these people.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that we don't need them. And actually, if I could, I want to just give my point because it addresses what you're talking about right now. Eke was asking, how do we, do this final push before the noose is pulled around our throat? Before this exponential increase happens. Actually, James, STFU James in chat might like this answer. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do. James is our resident black pillar. He loves handing out that black candy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that licorice. It's real tasty.
Yeah. I don't think that there's anything that we can do, really. I think what is going, I'm not saying that everything is just going to get worse, but things have to get worse before they get better, is what I'm saying. Like, people have to see it for themselves, how shitty society is getting, in order to kind of, open their eyes and allow these
What's
more...
I'm sorry, Matt. What's that phrase? Weimar conditions will lead to Weimar solutions.
I've never heard that before, but yeah, sounds about right.
Something like I fucked it up, but it's something like that. I think Ernest Zundel said that at some point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he said, "Mark my words, you will have Weimar conditions, and that will lead to Weimar solutions." I believe is what he said.
Yeah. That's.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So,
no, he's not. No.
I agree with you, Obi. I totally. It's gonna go to shit, dude, and we all know it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said the whole. Sorry, Eke. That's why I said, once Texas turns blue, once Republicans will no longer have, a dominant political power, then people are going to go, oh shit,
I do want to just throw it out there.
And sorry. Last. I'm really sorry. Last thing, Eke, because I just want to mention another thing that Sin mentioned is that it's all about IRL solutions.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is a great point. It's not really about. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that talking online is bad, because I do it all the time, and it's a lot of fun, and it's not as bad as everyone says it is. But yeah, we at the same time, if we're talking online, we need to be talking online, telling people to do things IRL. We need the storm is coming, so we need to be preparing ourselves for the coming storm. And talking online is the best avenue to get people into that kind of mindset, I would say. If that makes sense.
No, I'm down. I mean, I get it. Well, shit, this makes me super hyped about doing what I'm gonna try to do later on tonight. Wish me luck. But yeah,
are we doing?
Well,
are we doing an op?
Yeah.
Is it getting real?
I'm gonna go and do an actual thing tonight, so it's gonna be legal.
Gorilla Eke, man, this is great.
Yeah, it's perfect. Nothing. Okay, so this.
IIR. Are we talking II raw or what, dude?
I'm just gonna qualifiers. This is a stream of peace. We here at Eke Lux live streams do not endorse anything illegal or immoral. We do not exhort anyone to do anything. We do not encourage anyone to do anything. Diversity macht frei. Israel is our greatest ally. Okay. So anything and everything that I talk about is always completely legal, totally blue-pilled. No one's gonna get hurt. Puppies and kitties, rainbows and flowers only. Okay, that's it.
Eke, I'm not sure if you want to, we were having a great conversation, but this Mad Med James is wanting a link. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, he wants a link?
Oh god, disavow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I want to. The only thing is that I don't want it to turn into a beef stream.
Yeah, well, that's the only reason that James wants on.
I'm sure it is.
Tell me how wrong I am about everything.
No. And this is upsetting because I like you and I also like James, and
I like James too. I don't know why James has beef with me, man.
yeah.
So.
I don't want it to be a beef
He's
stream.
afraid, dude. That's all it is.
And James,
Well, yeah. I mean, Greeks are the second-rate meds, so yeah, I'm not surprised that he's pissed.
The thing is that James also had a couple of drinks, so I know that he's gonna be rip-roaring and ready for something. He's chomping. Oh man.
Oh, wait, James says his girlfriend wants to talk.
His girlfriend wants to talk. Wow.
I want to hear this. I want to hear this. Now you have to send it.
Wait, what's that? Sid?
I just say we need a woman on stream. I'm in full support of this.
Yeah, let's hear this shit.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's get totally
I don't-
fucking wild on this stream. Dude.
Okay.
Let's just do it.
All right. Well, if I've got the go-ahead from Sin, then that's okay.
Speaking of which, part of the reason why I wanted on James's stream earlier is because I heard this really great Greek joke the other day,
Yeah.
and I wanted to tell this joke when Otto was here, because Otto would probably know. I mean, James might know. There's this, like, you know how Greeks have the drink ouzo, right? And then there's also the Turks have like a kind of national drink that they drink, and I don't remember the name of it, but I'm sure Otto or James. I mean, James might even know it, to be honest.
I thought they just drank like water and drywall, right?
Water and drywall.
That's a Turk roach joke. That's really uncalled for. I'm done.
Raki, I think that sounds familiar, James. Yeah. So the joke that I heard was that Greeks and Turks hate each other, and then they both have their own drinks, but Greeks and Turks don't know that Ozu and Raki are both the same thing. So.
Oh fuck! You can't smash people's worldview like that, OB. That just causes brain damage, man. Fuck.
No, trust me. James is going to come on here and explain the intricate differences between the two. So.
Dude, hold on. Real talk, real quick. It's funny how, like, how Spencer, he really has a hard-on for fucking Turk hate, right? I mean, like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone who dislikes Turkey more than Spencer. But I'm torn, personally, right? Because on the one hand, Constantinople, all that jazz. But Turks, unlike the vast majority of, like, certainly the Arab world, but in like the whole non-white world in general, Turks actually seem to care for animals, particularly cats. They really take care of them. They feed them. They love them. They adopt them and shit. So I have a hard time like fully going like 100% on the Turk hate, because in my mind, any people that love and care for animals is like pretty much honorary white to me. So I have a hard time with the Turks on that one issue.
Well, this is where there's a couple things I want to say about this. One is a major problem that I have with the Turks. I mean, and we have to be clear here. We have to make a distinction between the ancient Turks versus the modern Turks, right? Where
what kind of Turks are we talking about here, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck me.
There isn't one single Turkish race, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, the Turks used to be a lot more Hellenistic, back in the day.
Yeah.
And today they're much more Arabized, or Muslimized, or whatever you want to call it.
They're a lot more durka.
Yeah. And so when I think of Turks today, like, the major problem that I have with them is, the Muslim thing, and that Muslim thing, well, obviously we know that Islam doesn't really give a shit about animals too much. But the main thing is that, like, there's a huge Turkish population in Germany, and they even the kind of mainstream, non-Nazi German politicians have had problems with, like, do you remember a couple years ago when Erdogan wanted to, like, do like a political, like an election tour in Germany, and even the mainstream German politicians said, no, you can't come here and do your campaign tour in Germany. Like, that's there's, to me, the modern Turks are clearly distinct. Okay, maybe they're nice to animals, whatever, but they're still completely distinct and separate from. And this is where someone like Kanop, or Spiritual Mamzer, where I would agree with him, where the culture, at the very least, has had an influence. And because Kanop likes to think that culture is more important than ethnicity, which I don't agree. But if we're gonna go on that, the Turkish culture is not congruent at all to European culture, and even the mainstream German politicians can see this. So I kind of have to agree with Spencer. Like, fuck the Turks.
Damn, that took a long time, dude.
Yeah, that's that I always take. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like,
No. Like, I don't disagree with you. Like, they have at best 1 foot in and 1 foot out of European culture. So, but like I said, my one thing is just that, as opposed to like the the norm in much of the Arab world, or certainly in like Africa or Asia, at least the Turks seem to have some semblance of like the European tradition of like caring for defenseless animals. So that's, if I have to give them one positive,
Sure,
that's the one I'll give them. But that's
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, that's their leftover, that's their latent European DNA.
Yeah, exactly. It's left over from a better time.
Somehow it still ended up a beef stream. It's funny.
Is James coming on? Did he get the link?
I don't know. I
Hey,
think
James, we sent the link if you want to come on. I've had some of my Slavic vodka, so if you wanna go drunk to drunk, we can do that, bro.
I just want to throw this out there because it's really, really funny to me. When James gave me the link to his stream, he gave me a screen cap, so I actually had to manually type in the link, and something about that was just so funny. I loved it. I don't know why. That was great. That's all.
Yeah, it's boomer tech is what it is.
Yeah, my life is actually so boring that I'm entertained by the fact that I had to manually type in a link. Okay.
Wait, I thought James's girlfriend was gonna come on.
I think that he said that you were going to be his girlfriend, so I think that was actually a slam that none of us quite caught.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
So yeah, James doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
All right,
but
just so everyone
it was
knows,
pretty. It was
Here I
still
thought
funny
we were
though.
ass and pussy on the stream. God damn it.
Yeah. No, it was pretty funny though. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, that I see. Here's my psychoanalysis, right? If we want to get all DSM,
Oh God.
but more legit, I think this is why James is so like black pilled and so like I mean, James has been burned so many times. Like, he was burned when he went to Charlottesville, and he's been burned throughout life. He's still living in a shitty ass apartment. Still just being an errand boy for CEOs. Delivering stem cells to George Soros. He doesn't have a family. He's like, no wonder James is so black pilled. Like, life has been shitty for him. I feel sorry for James, really, to be honest.
Eke, whether you wanted it or not, this is now a beef stream.
Yeah, it happened real fast.
Yeah, yo, here he
Oh,
is.
here we
Here
go.
he is. I knew that would get him on here. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, we can't
See,
take you anyway, man.
the Roman can call the Greek to battle whenever it is needed.
I just want to go ahead and say, hey James, how's it going? How you doing? Hey, James, are you there? Can you hear me? Oh shit. Jake, I hope you can.
Shut down the CPU.
There we go.
can see
There
him.
we go.
Okay.
Where is?
We can hear you now, James.
Yeah, go ahead. Let loose the rage, bro. We're ready.
Let's hear the Mad Mid.
I just have to say this. I love both of you guys, and you're awesome. So that's all. Okay.
We appear to be having some boomer difficulty.
Can you hear us, James?
What, James?
Not if you can see us.
Can you? Are you there, James?
Boomer tag.
No.
Wave your pistol.
Boomer
Wave your
tag.
pistol if you can hear us, James.
Dude, I'm gonna get a nice.
There we go. There we go.
I love it.
Confirmed.
I just.
This is CZ75 SPO1. It's the mid-grade 75 pistol. It's based off the Browning High Power. It's an all steel 9mm pistol, which is, I think it's a standard sidearm for NATO forces guys when they want to shoot people.
The
Yes,
original
because
design.
it's all steel. Well, it's like I said, it's based off the Browning High Power. The CZ75 was a very original thinking. Was released by the CZ Arms Company in 1975 after studying the Browning High Power for 40 fucking years. They released 3 versions of it: the CZ75B, the SPO1, and then the other one. I can't remember the other one. When I got it to mid grade.
Not to mention,
So it's a pistol.
HK pistols are based off of the CZ design, so
HK is based off of CZ. Is it really? I did not know that.
I'm actually really, really jealous because I really want a CZ75.
By the way, okay, this is now a K stream.
Yeah. So I'm just.
Fuck, everyone wants me.
I'm just gonna say, nice going, James. I absolutely approve.
Next, I bought this particular pistol. I've told the story before, but I had a niece who was interested in firearms. I'm interested in shooting, and I had a shooting my Walther PPQ, but that's a polymer frame striker fired gun, and she's like a little strimpy little girl, like a half fucking guinea, half whatever.
Yeah.
And half a Greek, and she's like, it jumps around a lot, Uncle James, and I'm like, okay, well, so I googled like flattest shooting 9mm pistol,
Boom.
and so the CZs came up, and I said, oh, buy one of those, right? So I fucking it's New Jersey. There's all kind of paperwork you have to apply. There's fucking background checks. Go to the state police again, and then so I do all this shit. I put this fucking $700 fucking gun. And she meets some dude who's like into the hockey and the UFC, and all that fucking punchy shit and whatever. And then they moved to fucking South Carolina where you can own any fucking thing without a background check. Bitch.
I just want to say real quick that imagine
Oh no. Wait, did Sin?
It sounds like Sin.
What happened? What happened to LA guy?
I think Sin
Sin might have
froze.
dropped.
Anyway, so all right, so I'll keep talking until the LA guy comes back. But the joke is like, you know, like I said, mind you, I wanted one for
it's
myself.
super. It's the
like the pistol, but
Oh,
I don't
wait.
not the goodness in the auto.
Dude, Sin, you dropped out for like 30 seconds.
Shit. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I was just saying, imagine looking for the flattest shooting 9mm and not getting a 38 Super.
That's tougher
Yeah,
to
Echo
find than
the
you
only-
might think. It's tougher to find than you might think. You know, that's like a Paul Harrell gun. You know, like anybody who knows Paul Harrell.
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking.
His YouTube channel.
Paul Harrell, by the way, is my personal hero. I fucking love that guy.
Because you dropped out, you missed the point where I said my niece, this particular one of my nieces, that I taught firearm safety and how to shoot pistols and rifles. She ended up hooking up with like this guy who's like a hockey playing UFC guy or whatever. And they moved to South Carolina, they bought a house or whatever, and on, and they're like pretend married. So, you know, I'm stuck with this. I'm stuck with this pistol, which I really like, but I don't love. To be perfectly honest, they're very good, and I would not knock them. You know, as a technological and probably ergonomic advance over the Browning high power, it's absolutely superior. But it took the Czechs 40 years to figure this out. It took them a really long time to come up with this form of pistol, and it was based off of John Moses Browning's genius fucking design, which he died, unfortunately. The Browning high power, he died before he completed it. He died on the factory floor of Fabrique Nationale in Brussels, Belgium.
How dare you
fucking
not
men.
absolutely love the CZ? That is so upsetting. Okay, I'm done.
That guy is very.
Well, I got the mid-grade one. I didn't get the bottom one. I didn't get the top one. I got the mid-grade one. So you know, it's neither for love nor.
No, it's okay. I
nor
don't care.
disappointment.
I don't care. It's okay.
It's a really no. Listen to me. As a double single action pistol, it's a fucking great pistol. It's probably as heavy or heavier than my 1911, and it shoots crazy flat. It shoots crazy flat.
Wait, is
like
that
22 flat?
Did you get the safety or the decocker?
I got the safety one. The decocker one was not available.
Oh, okay.
New Jersey.
Well,
So I got the
but,
one with the thumb safe.
Say real quick that
I would have preferred, to be perfectly honest, I would have preferred the decocker.
yeah.
Amount.
What's that?
I was just gonna say I find it hilarious that OB has been very quiet since the CZ came on stream.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait.
Nothing to do with
Sorry. Take a look at chat, and I said the Czechs are basically Germans. So you know, what else do I have to say?
Eke.
Keep laughing at your own jokes. Keep laughing at
Actually,
your own jokes.
I'm looking at Ruger right now. Ruger is kind of more my something I'm into.
I'm actually not a Ruger
Sorry.
fan, in all honesty. For reasons like Ruger, he was actually the what was his name? Something Ruger Bob or something like that. He was
William Ruger, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that was actually instrumental in the 10-round limit thing.
Oh, was he
So,
really?
Yeah. And it was a
I'm not
gamble.
aware of.
Yeah, it was a gamble on his part. Something about how he thought that if he could limit everything to 10 rounds, then we would still get to keep the second. This is like way back in like the 80s or some shit. I don't remember. But if there were like 10-round limits or something like that, then yeah, sure, we would have terrible round capacity, but at least we would still retain our Second Amendment protections. That was the gamble that he was running on. Obviously, I disagree with that. My own opinion is, just the 4 words, shall not be infringed. No compromise, period, end of story. That's my own
Yeah.
opinion. So,
Yeah. Oh, me too. Yeah.
I've always kind of been down with my avatar's perspective on things, which is that if you can only have 10 rounds, you might as well just carry a 44. And better yet, carry 2 of them, so you have 12 rounds. But it's in 2 different guns, so it's okay.
there you go. Nice.
Well, we just need to go back to
Yeah.
to Western, like the, cowboy status where you have, all these different 6-shooters and you're carrying like 4 of them, so forget reloading, you just pull out a new pistol.
That's the Democrat vision of America, man.
Yeah.
By the way, that's called a New York reload.
That's what's called a New York reload.
Yeah.
That's what's called a New York reload. And
Big
not for
thing.
nothing, I've
that's
told
true.
stories about this guy, but I've deracinated him. I know a guy that was a cop in New York for a very long time. It was like a legendary fucking street cop.
What does that mean? You deracinated him?
They would carry 3 guns. No, I want to hide the guy's ethnicity and everything, and his name and everything,
Oh, okay.
and even his physical description. And the reason why I say that is because it's complicated. But at any rate, he would carry 3 guns, and a lot of the real street cops in the 60s and 70s would carry 3 fucking guns. They were all 3 6-round 6-shooters, so they would have their Smith & Wesson Model 19, right, which they had to carry by, that was their standard duty sidearm. But they had 2 backup guns, and they would the New York reload of shoot everything you got, throw that gun down, pull another gun, and keep shooting until it stops going bang, and then pull another gun was a very real thing. And this guy told me that he was in Coney Island, him and his partner, and they had this call like an armed burglar, and they went up in this fucking the top of this 3-story building in Brooklyn, near Coney Island, Brooklyn, and there was a pigeon coop at the top of this fucking. This was not uncommon in New York. There was a pigeon coop and it made fucking noise, and they just emptied their fucking guns into the pigeon coop, and they killed probably 37 fucking pigeons.
Oh no.
But the burglar, the armed burglar was long fucking gone.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? But they're shooting like crazy because they're terrified. It's the middle of the night, you're in Brooklyn, there's a fucking guy with a gun and you're on the rooftop. And it's the reality of this. This is the thing where all of this stuff, where everybody thinks they're going to do this and do that, and do some special forces bullshit. The real guys who've actually done this, when you hear their fucking stories of how stupid they were, and it's a miracle that they fucking lived, it's so fucking hilarious that it's unreal. And Eki, you have access to LA cops. I'm telling you, bro, you gotta find these guys and hear their fucking stories, because I guarantee you they will tell you shit that will fucking peel the top of your skin off your head.
Okay, I don't know if I want to peel the skin off the top of my head, but
you know what I mean. But I mean, it's like stories. So
I get it.
No fucking way. And
No.
I'll give you the clue. I'll give you the fucking clue of how you know they're legit guys. Because when they're done with their badass stories, when they're done with their fucking I'm a fucking a big swinging dick fucking story, what they're gonna tell you is a story like this. I've told a story. I don't know if I told this exact story, but I worked with when I was in the taxi business. So in the 90s, there was a guy named Kevin T. I won't say his last name. He was an Irish cop. He was 6'4" fucking Irish cop, and one of his cousins had died of bone cancer at 15. Kevin had been to Vietnam for fucking 2 tours of fucking Vietnam, and he was born and raised in Prospect Park, Brooklyn. And when he came back from Vietnam, and he was he didn't know what the fuck he wanted to do with his life. He was completely fucking lost at this point, right? And he's in a local bar and he's having a couple of beers. And a couple of guys come in this bar and they beat the fuck out of some guy, whatever. That didn't make a fucking difference who it was. And Kevin's it's none of my fucking business. I don't give a shit. And he leaves the bar and he comes back 3 days later, and the bartender in the bar is in fucking got casts on them and shit, and they're all fucking, their arms are bound up. And he's like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened to you people? And they said, listen, the guy that got his ass kicked in the bar 2 weeks ago was an off-duty cop.
Oh.
And after that happened, the entire precinct, the squad, came by and beat the fucking shit out of everyone that was in the bar for allowing a cop to get his ass kicked. And Kevin was like, what the fuck? This was like a whole new world to him that he thought he knew. Like, he thought he knew Brooklyn. He thought he knew the city. He thought he knew New York. He'd been to fucking Vietnam. And the cartoon was like, hey, wait a minute. You know what? I think I want to be part of an organization that is that committed to the welfare of their own.
Wait, are you advocating
the
for
organization.
collectivism right now, James?
Oh, God damn it. How,
So-
OV, God
So
damn it.
Kevin,
Sorry, can't help myself. Sorry.
So Kevin ended up taking the civil service exam and joining NYPD. And Kevin had fucking stories like you wouldn't fucking believe. But Kevin the cop, and you fucking knocked me off the track of my fucking thought with Kevin. Kevin was like unfucking real as to how politically incorrect shit was. Kevin ended up getting they forced his retirement during the Crown Heights riots of 1993. He worked most of his career in Harlem from the 70s to the early 90s. And then in the Crown Heights riots of 1993, when David Dinkins was mayor of New York, and the blacks were rioting like crazy because some Jew ran over some black kid. And it was probably because the black kid deliberately ran out in front of the car just to fuck with the car. Because black kids do that shit all the time in the hood. The police were held back, and they were deliberately held back. No. When anyone says the police were the NYPD was held back from stopping that riot, and they let the blacks riot for like 3 fucking days, and then finally the fucking police brass and fucking David Dinkins, the black mayor, shows up. He was like 5'7" Negro mayor of New York, who forgot to pay his taxes for 5 years, but somehow still managed to become mayor of New York City. And he's like. He at one point he said, like, hold back, I don't want you to hurt my people. And fucking I swear to God, Kevin was within earshot of the mayor of New York. And he said that he turned, Kevin is such a fucking psycho. This guy was unreal. He turned and he said, Mr. Mayor, he says, we're your people. Those are fucking niggers. And fucking like heads fucking exploded.
Based.
People went out of their fucking minds. They ended up crushing the fucking riot. And then the election came. Dinkins lost Giuliani, man. And there was a lot of shit. They were like, Kevin, your fucking career's over. You're done in the fucking NYPD. You're fucking done. And he's like, no. Giuliani's going to understand. I'll talk to him. And Kevin, what? I'm not going to say his name. Kevin T, he swears he had an audience with Giuliani and like 3 or 4 other people. And they said they sat there like it was like a room where he comes in, he stands before this, and they have all these fucking files and this paperwork. And they said, thank you for showing up, Detective Kevin. We appreciate your time and blah, blah, blah. All the shit you have to say for like the records, you know, and the fucking unions. And they said, is it true you called the mayor of New York City a nigger? And Kevin said, no, my God, no, I would never do that. He said, no. He said, you don't understand. I said, Mr. Mayor, those are the niggers. We're your troops. We're your people. And and Giuliani said, listen, you have to retire. You can't talk this way. You have to retire. You're done. Your career is fucking over.
Oh my gosh.
And Kevin, I swear to Kevin, was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? In his mind, he was a loyal soldier. Dropping the N-word, and I disavow dropping the N-word. We should not dehumanize people in any way, shape, or form. You know, because they have a different skin tone, a different color than us, or they're a different ethnic background. But the type of mindset that this guy Kevin had was he was loyal to the city and the police department and the mayoralty. And he saw law and order as one side and the chaos of the rioters as another side. And that this guy was let's say, not thoughtful enough to screen his language in a high pressure situation, ended up costing him his career. Now he was at the end of his career, mind you. He had been on the force since the mid '70s after he got out of Vietnam. But there are worlds and situations that is so insane and so crazy, like you wouldn't believe. And if you put them in a film, no one would believe it. No one would believe it. And I've met people who actually lived through this kind of thing, and did this thing, particularly Kevin T, this Irish cop, who's like I said, his cousin died at 15 of bone cancer. Kevin himself got cancer not once but twice. Not once but twice, and he got treated for it and went into remission. And I was in the room, I was in a taxi office one time, where he was asking an Italian loan shark for $10,000 cash loan. And he said, listen, you don't understand how crazy shit is. I've been in such bizarre situations. And I'm there standing, and Kevin goes, come on, give me 10K. What the fuck? Give me 10K. And the Italian loan shark knew Kevin, and knew Kevin from the old neighborhood from Brooklyn. And he knew him. And he said, fuck you, you fucking Irish cocksucker. You're going to die of cancer before you pay me back. And it's like, looking back at it now, it was like so fucking screamingly funny. And Kevin goes, come on, what the fuck? 10K is nothing to you, you know? And this guy's like, fuck you, you're going to die before you fucking pay me back. You had cancer twice. And I'm like, and I remember like standing there, and I shouldn't have even been in that room, but I was happened to be in that room, and it felt like the top of my head was floating off and just spinning into space. I'm like, why am I here? Like, how am I even hearing this fucking conversation? But Kevin and the guy he was trying to borrow money from, and he wasn't even really trying to borrow money from, he was just busting the balls of the loan shark. And to be in, it's fucking, dude, you have no idea the crazy shit I've been next to. And I've looked at the time I didn't understand the way I understand it now, but it's a scream. And I'm sorry, and I don't want this stream destroyed. I don't want this burned. Anything I said, N-words and this and that, I'm relating with other people at different times at different places.
I'm
different value systems.
Yeah. This stream will get taken down. And that's by me.
Oh, fuck.
No, it's by me. No, it's by
that
me.
Sucks.
It's by me. It's okay. It's not a big deal.
It is called burn after streaming, brother.
Yeah, I forgot to take down my streams for the last week and change. So this is just going to be one of.
Well, for anybody that appreciated that story, anybody that had fun running along with that story.
Yeah.
How old were you when this happened, James?
Oh, mid-20s, late 20s. Mid-20s, about late 20s. I'd already been shot at or been stuck up at gunpoint. I'd already had a bunch of fucking shit you've only seen on TV happen to me.
Yeah.
So,
Here it comes.
So, listen, girlfriend. And I'm going to call you girlfriend from now till the end of fucking
All right, so basically now Ove got into beef stream mode. Okay.
You know, this is the thing. I want to come on streams, and I want to tell the truth. I want to be entertaining, and which is oftentimes the same thing with me. You know what I mean? I'm as legit of a fucking guy as you are going to get.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I believe you.
But if you want to be a fucking dick, okay.
Okay, all right.
I'm not going to yell and scream in my apartment at 3 o'clock
James,
in the morning.
I did.
Now 3 o'clock in the morning.
James, I did want to ask you a question though. Have you seen those hearings for? Oh, in a couple of minutes, I gotta let out. I just noticed the time. I do have an appointment that I want to try to make. Let's see how that works out. But anyway, so I'm announcing that now so that when
appointment. It's midnight in LA. It's midnight in LA. What are you gonna do? A coke deal?
He's gonna wake up in the morning, bro.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a good boy. I eat bacon and eggs for breakfast, and I wash my face before I go outside. But I wanted to ask, did you see those hearings on the evil white nationalists? The hearings that happened last week. Did you see those?
No, I did not.
Ah.
I don't watch. I don't own a TV. I don't.
No,
I
it's
don't watch
okay. It's okay. It was they did stream it on YouTube, and like I found out about it like as it was as one of them was just ending, and then the other one I found out after it happened. So it's like they're trying to sneak it in. They're putting in all this stuff, and they're trying to sneak it in so that nobody notices. And the long and the short of it is that the security agencies are asking for more power to combat what they call violent white supremacy. And they want to declare us an international threat. And the reason is because, now they didn't say these words, they did not say these words, but of course one can read between the lines. They want to declare it international because people like Brittany Pettibone and Mark Collette and so on and so forth and Jared Taylor, they bounce back and forth between Europe and America, which technically makes them international.
Brittany Pettibone is married to what's his name, Martin Sellner.
Sellner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're, I mean, already that's like an international relationship right there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and also, what's his face? Henrik and Lana, right?
Oh yeah, from Red Ice, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What is it? Millennial Woes. Just before I got woke, Millennial Woes went up to like Oregon or Washington or something like that. So yeah, these guys are getting around.
Oh, I thought you were about to say that Millennial Woes had a girlfriend, and I was like, what?
I know.
that would be internet news.
Yeah.
Although to be fair to Millennial Woes, he did interview Brittany Pettibone, and I remember seeing him. He was as excited as a fucking boy on Christmas. And he was sitting next to a girl that pretty.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. That was kind of cringe, to be honest, because
I should say
I think Woes is like the kind of guy that wants to have a girlfriend, but he knows that he can't, and he just resigns himself to being a homo or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that.
Listen, guys like Millennial Woes, I could never get into because he does these deep dives into stuff, but it takes so fucking long to get to the meat of it. Maybe it's an East Coast New York thing, and I have a low time preference, but I try and get to the point of it, like as quickly as I can. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my own time. So get to the best parts relatively quick. And if you don't have that many best parts, shut the fuck up and stand on the side.
Fair point. But okay, so I'm only thinking about these hearings because they're of great interest to me, because they're going to be using these. I'm convinced of this. These hearings are to set up the concept that we, all inclusive, we are an international threat, and they want to sick basically the FBI on us by declaring us international. So they want to allocate new funds. So they want to expand the funding. They want more agents to look after us and so on. And they want to expand laws and definitions so that they can get to us. So essentially, like the meme of say something nice about your Fed, that's not going to be a meme soon. That could actually end up being a thing in the very near future. So
yeah, everyone be sure to join your local honeypot Wignet group.
Well,
yeah, it's I actually think things are going to get kind of
Wignet's kicked you out, right, Obi?
Yeah.
There are no local Wignet groups.
Wait, kicked you out, Ov? What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I'm persona non grata. Yeah.
What?
Imagine not having the standards of a Wignet.
But
look in the mirror.
No,
say
you
to yourself,
backwards.
Wignet.
You've got backwards, James.
Dude, what the fuck?
Look
Yeah,
in the mirror and say to yourself, the Wignats enforce standards that I myself will not enforce.
Oh, see, James, this is where your personal hatred of me gets in the way of your rational analyzing of the situation.
I want to come back to the.
Right.
I want to come back to the freaking hearings, man. That's what I'm most interested.
The thing about the hearings, Aki, the thing about these hearings, largely this is red meat for the left, and this is another thing with these dumbass boomers that I get involved with on Gab. They're like, well, you know, when Trump said Beto O'Rourke fucked us on gun control this year, they're like, yeah, Trump is glad that he didn't, you know, like that Beto fucked it up. And I'm like, no, Trump wants gun control. This idea that Trump is 10 times better than the leftists, no, he's not. No, he's not.
No.
He is genuinely angry that Beto O'Rourke screwed up gun control this year. And maybe for a couple of years to come.
Yeah.
That's possible. It's definitely possible. I want to echo.
And so Trump is definitely pissed at Beto for being a jerk because their goal is the same, but Trump is going to do it in a slick way and Beto in a stupid way.
I wouldn't actually go that far. I don't think that Trump is a total sellout. I think that he's. I mean,
this is why he got excommunicated. Now I understand.
No, yeah, I got excommunicated for different reasons, but I think, I mean, I'm not saying that Trump isn't a sellout, but he's not a total sellout. Like, you know, he's kind of, you know, we were talking about the 10. Eke was talking about the, you know, wait, well, hold on, here, let me explain myself real quick. let me do this long-winded explanation.
Fuck.
Yeah. So Eke was talking about how Ruger was one of those proponents of like the 10 magazine, you know, 10 round magazine or 10 round clip or whatever. That's kind of the, you know, and he thinks that it's kind of like a halfway solution. That's the same way that I see it as Trump, is that Trump doesn't, you know, really hate, you know, he's not like antagonistic towards white nationalism per se, but he will never actually be, you know, for pro-white nationalism. And so he's kind of like the Ruger in the sense that, like, here, let me do this halfway measure to try and, you know, compromise and, you know, be the negotiator kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you suck.
But here's
you suck at this. Really.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, says the guy drunk on Ouzo. Here's to stay on the topic that Eke wants to stay on the topic of.
More articulate than you've ever been.
So Eke, I wanted to ask you this before. You mentioned that they wanted to make white nationalism part of the DSM, like kind of like a mental issue.
Yeah.
Was that something that was said in the recent?
Talking about it as being a mental health issue and a public health issue. Remember, predictive programming.
Is there? I mean, you said that they want to make it part of the DSM. So has there been any studies that have come out, or has there been has the DSM actually said anything about this?
No, not yet. But the movements are being made in that direction.
Right.
Remember that. Okay, so the first thing that they do is they talk about what they're going to do, then they do it.
Right.
We're in the talking phase.
This is something that's coming in the next few years or so. Probably.
A couple of election cycles.
Well, listen,
yeah.
I got to interrupt you guys because I've said this on other streams that the Second Amendment community is very sensitive to the fact that they've been under attack for quite some time. And even there's been a revolution from the ground up in the NRA because people calling them not real activists.
Which is 100% the case, by the way.
That the Second Amendment community is awake, okay? They're woke, and they're willing to fight back, and they're organized. is the best thing that ever happened. Now you can join with them if you want on their platform and strengthen them, or you can talk shit about, you know, fucking the Jews and Hitler and whatever the fuck you want to talk about. But if what matters to you is a win, you join with the biggest, strongest group that has the highest likelihood of winning. And right now,
GOA.
that's the Second Amendment community. That's the Second Amendment community. Whether you think that's the NRA or the Gun Owners of America or some other group, this is where it's at. Okay? And that means defeating whether it's Dianne Feinstein or Donald Trump or both of them at the same time. But this is what we organize around, and this is a community you need to shut your mouth about this fringe shit and just be a good soldier and get behind the fucking the line and push.
Wait, but do you remember what was it? It was maybe like six months ago or so, maybe longer, when you had that conversation with Jovi Val, where Jovi Val was talking about, you know, we need to break the laws in a pro Second Amendment way, right? You know.
Oh yeah, the cop from New York. Yeah, he was a cop. He was a cop from New York.
Well, he didn't say that he was a cop, but that was kind of the.
Yeah, but I know for a fact he's a cop from New York.
Oh, really?
Because he's a cop from New York. Of course he is. Because he talks just like me.
Well, I mean, he
doesn't talk like a West Coast guy.
Okay, wait. He's from New York.
Yeah, I know. He just happens to.
What proof do you have that he's a cop?
Because he's up at 3 a.m. He's cold stone sober, and he's suggesting in a calm and fucking completely Fed posting way that white people should ignore all legal gun laws.
Well, I mean, but that's pro Second Amendment, isn't it?
Well, I mean, okay, I just lined up 7 facts, but let's ignore that.
Wait, no, wait. You said that, you know, if we're going to organize a community, it has to be a pro Second Amendment community. I mean, how would that?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, I mean, that's exactly what Jovi Val. Are you saying? Are you okay? So here, let me lay out exactly what I'm saying. Let me be clear with what I'm saying. So you're saying that it is possible. It is possible to go too far in the pro Second Amendment sphere, is what you're saying.
That's not pro Second. Fed posting is not pro Second Amendment.
Kathy Newman?
Fed posting.
No. Wait.
Advocating. Listen.
I'm trying to bust
everything I say about this guy is
what I'm doing.
Everything I say about this guy is true.
So,
advocating
wait. All right, relax, Uzo, bro. All right. So here's the thing, right? Like I've got no problem, you know, with being pro Second Amendment. And
yes, you do.
We were, I think.
Who's we, fag boy?
Yeah, me and Eke were actually talking about the Second Amendment laws on another stream, where obviously, actually on this stream even, we're talking
make your fucking point. I'm laughing at my own joke.
I'm laughing at your impersonation.
Laugh at your own joke.
James, man. Like I just,
I
enjoy talking with you, James. I just, you have to be such a fucking.
Why don't you just oven yourself, fag boy?
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Oven yourself, fag boy. Make your point.
Wait. Who's the fag boy?
Spit it out.
If you call me your girlfriend, doesn't that make you the fag?
Spit it out like you spit out fucking cum every fucking Saturday night.
All right.
Laugh at your own joke again, loser.
I'm laughing at your joke. What are you talking about?
Notice you're the only one laughing? You notice you're the only one laughing?
Well,
you notice you're the only one laughing?
You should be grateful. You should be grateful that anyone's laughing at your jokes, James.
He's the only one laughing because the rest of us are fucking captivated by the nonsense that's going on before us, because this is what happens every single fucking time both of you are on the same stream.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, this is what happens when a Greek.
So these two will shut the fuck up, please.
Yeah, this turned into a beef stream.
Go ahead, James. And you too, Obi.
I'm
your
trying to
point.
make sense of this fucking Greek.
There's no making sense, man. Just let it fucking go.
You're crying, cry me your tears.
No, cry,
Cry
dude.
me
James,
tears.
you're kind of a normie, dude. I don't even know why you come to these
Yeah, I'm
streams.
kind of a normie. I am
All,
kind of a
like,
normie.
honestly, you're not on the
I
same
am a
level.
blue pill normie.
No, no,
I'm a blue pill normie with 0 power level. I'm
Well,
a blue
nobody
pill normie
cares.
with 0
Dude.
power.
Listen,
No,
nobody
he's a
has any
fucking
power
black
except the
pilled
people that
bitch is
control
what
the
he
fucking
is.
banks, man. Fuck.
Well, one of you has got to be right. One of you has got to be wrong.
Wait, me
Am I
and
a
Sid
blue
are
pill
more on the
normie?
same
Or
page
am
than you
I a
are.
black pill bitch?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm really bummed out because this turned into a beef stream
Now,
like pretty hard.
Aki's literally going to end the stream.
Yeah, I do
He's gonna
actually.
And whose
because
fault
you
is
two are
that,
fucking
James?
little girls.
When you,
Whose fault is that, James?
I do actually have to.
we'll never know, Aki.
Well,
Aki,
no, no,
we'll
no,
never
no,
know
no, no,
because
no,
the
no,
stream's
no.
going to be destroyed.
I do
We're never
want to
gonna
go.
know.
I do want to just make mention of one thing. I do have to go, not because of the beef specifically, but because I do have an appointment. So, as I was making.
We can continue this on my stream if anyone wants.
Okay.
Fageli de Europa. The channel's called Fageli de Europa.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yuck.
Okay.
Yuck it up.
Oh
Yuck it up,
gosh.
fag boy.
Okay. All right.
Aki, I'm sorry you have to burn
Fuck
another
up
stream.
James. That's what it says.
Okay.
Yeah. kind of an ironic name, isn't it?
It kind of is, isn't it? Fuck, dude.
Can you even remember what your point was?
Who are you talking to, James?
Yeah, who are you talking to, James? You're talking to me, Robbie?
Either one of you.
Oh God.
Okay.
I'll take on every one of yes.
One of you.
I'll take on
Obi,
every
shut
one
the
of
fuck up.
yes.
James. No, shut the fuck up, Obi. What's your question, James? Repeat the question.
Oh gosh.
What was your point?
What point? I don't even know. My point is that I'm tired of the fucking beef. Whenever you two get on stream, it's Eke and I have to shut the fuck up because you two won't fucking stop. And it annoys the fuck out of me.
Who two?
Like, who the
won't
fuck
stop?
are you? Dude?
Eke,
I've been here longer
Eke,
than you. And
What do
you
you
come
do
on the
to-
stream and fucking
Listen
take
to what
it.
you just
I
said.
actually don't know how that works.
Listen to what you just said. You
James
two
doesn't
have to
even know
shut
who
the
he's
fuck up.
arguing with right now. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I just
You
get
just
pissed off
said-
because you get all fucking
Eke
stupid.
and you have to shut up because you two won't talk. You think I'm two people?
Yeah, who are the only other two people on the stream, James?
Okay. All right.
Well, it's me and Eke, or it's you
I'm
and LA.
calling you guys.
Saint
I'm
Whiskey.
gonna call the stream.
Yeah, James is even drunker than I thought, man.
Okay.
Jeez, I thought you held your liquor better than that, James. Apparently not.
No, I'm
Apparently
calling.
you're not a real med.
I'm gonna call the
So
stream.
fucking weak.
I
So
gotta
fucking
call the
gay
stream.
you are.
I'm gonna call the stream. You guys, I must say that
Gay.
I
As the
actually.
day is long.
Oh god damn it! No, James. James, settle down a minute.
Greeks will never be as great as Romans, so get fucked.
Okay, just settle down. Okay, god damn it. All right. I'm going
So
to
weak. So weak.
ask that all three of you give your final remarks. We're gonna start with James, then we're gonna go to OV, and we're gonna end with Sin, and as everyone finishes their remarks, we're going to file off of the call.
In an orderly fashion.
That's right. We're gonna do this as formally as possible. So, James, do you have anything that you wanted to plug? Do you have any ideas that you wanted to make mention of?
I want to plug the fact that Greek culture dominates
James
the
wants to
world.
plug his ass. Is what
Okay,
he wants to do.
damn it. Okay.
When you die, when you loser fucking shit ass faggots die,
Okay.
you will be planted underneath a marble grave marker, which is a marble grave stele, which was first used by the Greeks in 500 BC. So all your shit. and
I'm
all
sorry,
your
I'm sorry,
fucking
Ike, I'm
nonsense,
sorry, Sin. I couldn't help myself.
When
I'm
you're
sorry.
done,
Okay.
when you are remembered, and when you're done, the form of your grief will be a Hellenistic form. When you are remembered after death, it will be in a Hellenistic form. They will stare at a marble stele or a marble headstone. When all your shit is said and done, we will stand atop of you when you are dead. Good night, everyone.
Okay. All right, that was James. Thank you, James.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. Oh, hey, buddy. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything you wanted to plug?
Yeah. I just, I know that this kind of turned into a shit show toward the end, and I apologize for that. I just want to say that, I actually, I don't know, maybe it's my Mediterranean personality, but I like James, and I don't understand why James,
But you rile him up. You got to stop that. You do it intentionally. I know you know.
We used to get along. Me and him used to get along. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, what happened to make him my enemy? I don't know.
Okay. Well. Okay. So anyway, is there anything that you wanted to plug? Any ideas?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the channel that I'm streaming on right now is Fratelli de Europa, or D Europa, I guess. DI Europa.
All right.
And my friend Kyle,
Oh, God damn it!
until Eke stops getting offended, I'm not gonna stop saying it.
You're out of control.
My friend Kyle, he's about this tall.
Okay. And also,
You just hold your arm out at a 45-degree angle, and that's how tall Kyle is.
okay. And not now, but later. Check like tomorrow. We should talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later. Right.
Should I get off, or are we gonna talk off stream?
No.
Or... Just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one to Sid. Yeah.
Peace out.
Okay. See ya. Hey, Sin, how's it going?
Oh, fucking God, dude. Yeah, so, Eke, my thoughts are just this. First off, I'm sorry for being triggered.
No,
I didn't.
it's okay.
But secondly, OV and James are both faggots, and fuck both of them.
Okay.
Because every time they're both on the stream together, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah. From now on, I will be okay with talking with one of them at a time, but that's it.
Only one. Yeah, only one.
Yeah.
You cannot have. And I guess my other final thoughts are just that.
Oh my God.
Eke, I told you privately off stream that I've visited certain streams, certain shows,
Yeah.
even, stations, if you will.
Okay, settle down with the language, but okay, go on.
Yeah. So, and all I wanted to say is that on the subject of like the hearings and the escalation and everything that's going on, trying to define things as like an international movement, right? Is that there's a certain group of people that said it, I think, best, which is that we ISIS now, and I think that's kind of sums up how they're trying to frame it and treat us. So that's pretty much well.
Yeah, that's a little bit distressing for a lot of reasons. Yeah, because even though like earlier I was saying that I think that this could end up being a net boon because this is going to force people to think and talk openly, that also means, well, they're going to be eyeballing us, like literally us, like actually us, like not group us. I mean like actually like you and me. They're going to know our names in the near future. I don't like that. So, yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Sorry. I was paying attention to chat like a fool.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's wild. But yeah, dude, it's I think, Eke, the bottom line is that we all know where things are headed, and it's not good, man.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around to the idea that there's actually, like, there's a larger force at work here, and the best we can really do is, like, prepare for what is more or less inevitable.
Yeah, dude. Once again, hard determinism rears its ugly head.
Yeah, and I don't, because I want to be very clear about this. I am in no way endorsing anything, obviously, but holy crap. I mean, when you chart all these things on a one-dimensional line, it's the pattern is pretty goddamn clear. Really, really clear. And I don't like that pattern. But at the same time...
It's terrifyingly clear, man.
Yeah. The plus, the bonus that I'm getting out of all of this at the moment is just that, you know, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, where you know it's going to happen, you know it's coming, and it's going to suck, but once it's off, it's not that big of a deal. And so I'm trying to imagine everything as being a Band-Aid. You know, we're going to grit our teeth, you know, you can do that sharp inhale right before it happens, and then it's going to be okay, you know. That's what I'm angling for psychologically, you know, because, like, holy crap, dude. You should check out the hearings. And
yeah, I will. I need to.
I think
that's a level of skill that I just have been reluctant to chew.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, the one with Candace Owens was intentionally more spectacular, but I'm starting to think that the one that happened on Wednesday might be the one that's a little bit more important. I'm going to have to watch both of them again to be sure. It's a huge time sink to do this, and I know that they're intentionally trying to waste our time by flooding us with information, so it sucks, but I don't think there's any way around it anyway. Either one of them is going to be good, but the thing to take away from it is that they are aware that we are right. They used our meme of 1350, so they know we're right, and they're still going to call us bad because we're having the incorrect response to being ethnically cleansed in our own lands.
Because we're committing the crime of noticing, dude.
Yes, that's literally what's happening. They're actually, well, not just noticing, but being upset at what is being noticed. So the higher crime is that...
Speaking out against what has been noticed.
Yeah, so, for example, the people in the hearings, they know the same information that we know. So in the strictest sense, they have noticed. But they have the good thinker response, which is, whites are being demographically replaced, and that's a good thing. As where we have the bad thinker response, which is whites are being demographically replaced, and that's a bad thing. So the only difference is the emotional response.
Yeah, it's funny how one single word changed can completely transform the meaning of a phrase.
Yeah. And I'm confident that I'm missing a lot in there. I'm very sure that there are things that they have described that are absolutely worth my time and attention. But at the time last week, I was getting awful sleep, so I was barely awake for like most of last week, which is whatever. Side note to that, by the way, I don't know, this is probably of little interest to you, but whatever. I found out that I don't know what the exact measurement was, but we'll call them points for the sake of ease because I don't remember. I found out that normal range for vitamin D is like 20 to 30 points, and anything below like 30 points and above is actually normal. 20 to 30 points is a little bit low, but no one's going to really worry about it. I was down to like 14 points or some bullcrap. So apparently my vitamin D is pretty fucking low.
Eke, I know it's important to you to look the part as a white, but you got to get some sun, bro.
Yeah. So
you actually have to leave the house occasionally, or you will die.
Yeah, as it turns out, that's a really major issue. So I took a supplement of vitamin D, just a giant honkin' freaking pill, earlier today, and I gotta say, I actually feel great. Like, I feel alert. I feel okay. So,
Time is kept in check, and you're not waiting to absolutely just crash out like normal.
yeah, I mean, I'm still tired. Oh my god, I'm so tired. But, yeah, I'm not actually, like, in the process of moving into REM sleep as I'm speaking. So, that's pretty good. That's a big improvement.
Nice, dude. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that because I'm sure. I don't know. I spend a lot of time in the sun, dude, so I'm not really worried
No,
about
you're
no
fine, man.
vitamin D.
You're doing great, yeah. For me, it's like, oh, whatever. Anyway, yeah. Because another fun thing. I'm only going through this because it's kind of amusing to me, but I've scaled down all the way to like hard 1 teaspoon. I don't fudge it and go like a big dolloping teaspoon with a little bit of extra honey on there. It's just a regular teaspoon of honey now in the morning, and then just like a glass of wine at night, and that's it. With a break between, like 2 meals a day basically. And dude, like I think over the past week and a half I've dropped like 7 pounds. I don't even exercise. It's just going away.
That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I need to really work on my. I need to work on my diet and exercise routines for sure.
mostly, I would say the hardest is, well, like it's basically sugar is really what it comes down to. It just
Sugar is my pain, man.
Yeah. So what I ended up doing, the way that I did it, is I started by cutting out all soda pop, period. That was number one. And then I went to cutting out chips, which I can assure you that was hard. Because I used to love eating potato chips with like fried chicken, and like broccoli and some mustard.
No chips and no soda pop, Eke. Why even live, dude?
I know. Don't even. It hurts.
God damn
It
it.
hurts. But yeah, so it started off with just like no soda pop, and then I cut back on chips, and I didn't cut them out. I didn't stop eating them. What I did was I would cut back to, instead of like, a half a bag of chips for a day or something, I would just go to like a couple of fistfuls or something like that, and all the way down to until I was just not eating any more chips. And another hard one was cutting out my morning toast, which I used to love. But I just started paring down until finally I ended up with, and it took me a year because I started doing this like last year in November or something. And like for a couple of months I went right back to my regular diet because I couldn't handle it. And then I started up again in the springtime or something. So all I'm saying is that like if you don't like cut things hard, if you just sort of ease into new habits and like new modes of behavior, weirdly enough, it gets to the point where, like, I had some pizza and beer a couple days ago. I didn't like it. I was totally unsatisfied. The pizza,
Right.
So because I basically eat nothing but fat, meat, and vegetables, and that's it. And what's pizza? It's the opposite of that. So
it's
I
all
didn't.
starch.
Yeah. So, like, if you do want to modify your diet, I really do recommend going for just scale back on a couple of things. Let me scale back on one thing. Don't modify your diet beyond one single thing. Eat exactly the same and only modify one thing, and that's it.
Right. Eke, on the diet question, the one thing that I have done before, I know, like, I know I'm capable of doing it. I've had success is, the soda pop question. Like, dude, I love soda pop, man, especially like, those Mexican Cokes, the bottled ones.
Oh, yeah. I used to love those.
Sugar. Yeah, those are actually great. Honestly, I love those.
Yeah, made with like real sugar. Oh my gosh, I used to love those things.
It's so good, man.
Yeah.
But it's not that difficult to, if you're a soda pop fiend, like me, it's not that difficult to swap out your soda pop, especially like if you go out to eat. Like if you, I mean, obviously, like you should probably try to cut out fast food, but let's say you do, instead of a soda pop, if you get iced tea, it's a very, for me at least, I found it's a very smooth transition. Like, yeah, you're missing out on the sugar, you're missing out on the, obviously unsweetened, but you know what I mean? Like, you're missing out on the sugar, you're missing out on the carbonation, but you're still getting that little bit of flavor, right? It's not like, I've never had success trying to just go straight water. It doesn't work. For me, at least.
I'm not gonna lie. Moving into just drinking water, because that's all I drink now. I do not drink anything but water. Like I have coffee in the morning, and the coffee is just coffee and heavy cream, and that's it. Nothing else. So right. I do still drink something other than water, but the transition of drinking basically water. Oh, that's right. I like to heat up chicken broth, and I like to add a little bit of salt to that. So basically I have chicken broth and then coffee. Those are the only other things that I drink other than water. I will admit, it's really weird.
Damn, dude, are you on like the full-on liquid diet or what?
No, it's basically keto. Basically.
Right, so you're just trying to cut as much as you can anywhere you can.
Yeah, and I still lean on I love cashews, but cashews, those do have some carbs, and as long as I only limit myself to like a couple of handfuls a day, it's not that big of a deal. It's completely fine.
You know, they're pretty chock full of like good aminos and vitamins.
Yeah.
They're way worse things to snack on.
Exactly. Sure. So I'm not concerned about that.
That's a lot of protein too, actually.
What's that?
A lot of protein too.
Yeah. And it's actually my hope that the combination of diet, and now that I know about freaking vitamin D, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do normal exercise again, and then I can finally get some shoulders back. I used to have shoulders way back when I was young and beautiful. God, I miss those days.
Too, man. Yeah, back in the wrestling days, I had a pretty well-developed back.
Yeah, it's great too, because like you carry yourself differently, you know.
Yeah, it picks your whole self up and presents it in a better way. I agree, but
yeah, because
it's tough, man. Like you said, diet, and you know, I mean, exercise is important, but damn, dude, I feel like diet is really like 80% of the battle.
It's huge. It's fucking huge, and I can't stress this enough. Like, without exercising a lick, I have dropped 7 pounds. So like, I know it's working. You know.
Right.
All I have to do next is like genuinely put forth the effort to build up a new, because I do everything as routines. I do everything as rituals. So one of the rituals that I want to make, I want to ingrain into myself is push-ups in the morning. Do a couple of push-ups, boom, good for the day.
Oh yeah, that's a good one actually. That's I would consider that to be a 100% based and red-pilled routine.
Yeah, because I mean, it's really hard to injure yourself doing push-ups. You can, but you know, just you will know when something is feeling wrong, because it's going to hurt just a little bit and you'll tend to stop, which means that, you know, I mean, you're dealing with what, body weight? Like, you're fine. It's not that big of a deal. So like, I love freaking push-ups.
It's a safer exercise for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, the goal is to
just fuck away from crunches though, Eke. Crunches are the devil.
What's that?
I said stay the fuck away from crunches.
Oh no.
Crunches are the...
Yeah, I'm not doing those. I'm not going to do those. I mean, I do want to go ahead and do general exercises to build up general strength, but I'm never going to be like one of those guys that has like fucking ripped abs or whatever. That shit's out. It's not a part of my life, sadly. But I think I'll be able to get. I should be able to get exactly enough strength and tone that I'll be able to reliably wear a sport coat and not look like a goddamn dork. That's really all I care about.
Yeah, dude. On a related note, best way in my experience to build abs is to do like dip, like dip lifts, like dip leg lifts and shit. Where you bend yourself and then use your legs or not your legs, but use your legs as your weight to work against. I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I actually will have to do some stuff with my legs at some point because when I was younger, I was way into cycling and I ended up with slightly overdeveloped legs. So, I don't know if there's this movie called The Triplets of Belleville. Have you ever heard of that movie?
Triplets of Belleville. No.
Yeah,
dude, I'm an uncultured swine, okay, remember?
It's okay. It's a really obscure movie from like the early 2000s. And the movie featured a cyclist, and it was a caricature of a cyclist, a French cyclist. So of course he had this weirdly shaped head, sort of an oblong nose, and he had a tiny, skinny little body frame for like his upper torso, and then he had these gargantuan fucking legs, just these huge monster fucking legs. And while I never achieved anything like that, like in my own way, I kind of did. In that, what happens when you do cycling? Your legs get super worked out. What are you not working out? Oh yeah, that's right, your freaking torso. So I ended up with like kind of average, normal, whatever arms, and then just like thighs, this gargantuan. You look like a weirdo. You just look like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, that's how cycling works.
Yeah, basically. So I found out that like dancers and people that got like way into sports or whatever, if they aren't careful later in life, they can develop sciatica. So I'm actually in the back of my head like, oh shit. Yeah, like I may want to start thinking about that because all those years that I spent cycling, like what if I accidentally trained them to do things that I don't want them to do? Like I kind of think I should start doing normal stretches now.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is why I feel that calisthenics, body weight calisthenics, and just like urban style, where it's just like the more variety you put into your workout, the better and safer you are, man. Like you're not going to develop those kinds of like imbalances that you're talking about if you work out your whole body.
Because it's not like it's not that big of a deal, doing the cycling. It's just that because I started to kind of get into it a little bit, and what happens when you get into things, you tend to carry them a little bit farther than say the normal person would carry them, and sometimes you can get a little carried away, and overall not a big deal, but like just in the back of my head I'm like, oh shit. And so anyone, I guess what I'm saying is anyone that may have done some like crazy weird thing or whatever, like in preparation for when you get older, like build up some strength and some some flexibility so that you don't have like weird walking issues or something when you get older. It actually does become an issue.
You got to build up a range.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, all right, that's all. I just thought for some reason I wanted to bring that up. I don't know why. But
I enjoyed that, dude. That was solid. Yeah. I think chat needs to hear this kind of based and iron pilled content from time to time.
I think we all do, and I think I kind of wish that I had more of it in me, because sometimes this is actually one of the reasons why I kind of like Mark Collette, because he does start very frequently talking about exercise, and just getting out there doing stuff.
Yeah, I Yeah, I would love, dude. Personally, I would love to go to one of those, meetup fitness excursions. That would be
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Big time. Yeah, I wish that those things happened here in Los Angeles. And by that I mean,
Not going to fucking Great Britain for any reason. So
yeah, I'm no fucking way.
unless it's an invasion.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. Yeah, if I have to help out, then that's a different story. But yeah, like here in LA, if there was going to be anything like that, like I would be terrified that my Fed would show up, and then I'd have to talk to him.
Well, basically, Eke, when they ask me, business or pleasure, I want to be able to just say business and leave it there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, it's now 1:21 my time, and I think I do have enough energy to do the thing that I want to do. Which, wish me luck. We'll see how it goes down. But yeah, I'm gonna get ready to hopefully do something very entertaining. So that's the goal.
I'm gonna be fucking watching the news in the morning.
Nice. I like it. Well, is there anything that you wanted to anything you wanted to plug? Any ideas that you wanted to kind of get out there?
Man, not really. Other than that, I fully support your endeavors, and I encourage everybody else out there to look into the idea of moving more into the IRL realm, because I think that's where we need to go. So that's pretty much it.
I like it. Yeah, the thing that I'm going to be doing actually is IRL. Even though I did disavow earlier going outside, so help me God, I'm going to go outside.
Yeah, but Eke, we understood. You meant only in the daytime.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to listen to Depeche Mode on my way, so it's going to be fine. I'll be okay.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Fuck yes.
Yeah. Anyway, here, if you want to go ahead and we can chit-chat for just a minute after I call a stream.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll stick around.
Cool. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and transition back to the main. Thank you again for popping in, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yep. Take it easy, chat.
All right, so that was freaking Sin, who is awesome, and there you go. I want to thank James, and I also want to thank OV for popping by. I love both of those guys, and I don't think I can have them both on the freaking stream at the same time anymore. Obviously, no offense to either of you. I like you both. Anyhow, moving on. Alright, time to call stream. I'm freaking tired, but I'm going to try to push through and do something fun. So we'll see how that works. Wish me luck. And with that, we did just a touch of case streaming, and that is super duper awesome. Side note, OVFU, I do want to go ahead and make mention, Ruger does actually make a couple of good revolvers. I do like the GP100, and I also like the LCR line. So if for some reason you're interested in that, Ruger isn't all bad. That's really all I'm saying. Anyhow, that out of the way, if one is to exercise their God-given right to keep and bear arms as described within the Second Amendment, which is under attack by filthy communists, I do think it's a good idea to have in mind the 4 rules of firearms safety as outlined by Jeff Cooper. Rule number 1. Always treat every firearm like it is loaded. Rule number 2. Never cover or sweep anything that you are not willing to destroy. Rule number 3. Your finger stays off of the trigger until your sights are on target. And the 4th and final rule is be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Safety first. And I think I'm going to get myself ready to play a little album, because I do actually have to prepare myself if I'm going to go and have fun, a little night on the town. I'm going to need prep, which means just enough time, methinks, to listen to a single album. So what are we going to play? I think I haven't listened to any George Clanton in a long flippin' time, so I think I'm going to play some George Clanton. Where are we? G-H. There we are. George. Boom. We're going to play Slide. Slide is a great album, so that's the album that we're going to play. This is Slide by George Clanton, released, I believe, late last year or early this year, though I don't recall which. I think it was late last year. This is a fantastic album. Anyone that doesn't know who George Clanton is, he is a super duper blue-pilled normie, but gosh, is he good at music production. So anyhow, here's a nice little album that we can listen to while we brush and floss our teeth. Cheers, and I'll see everyone in the chats. All right, guys.
doesn't make you mainstream. And that's a lie. Now doesn't fit your picture. Doesn't look so try. Down does a cell phone makes you. Doesn't that's the job. Down over you. Down.